Hi there, we're going to look at solving quadratics by factorising, this time with a coefficient in front of x squared. So this is part 2 of solving quadratics by factorising. So please look at the first one first. But essentially we are going to look at what to do when there's a number in front of the x squared. Alright, so this is a coefficient, it's called it. So if you've got 2x squared plus 8x plus 6, obviously that causes a problem, because if we're going to put it into two brackets, I have to consider the fact there's a 2 in front of the x squared. So I potentially could have a 2x in one bracket and an x in another, all right? But I have noticed that every single one of these is divisible by 2, all right? So therefore, much more straightforward. And you think, well, let's just divide everything by 2. That means this, 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 and this. Divide it all by 2. So when I divide it all by 2, I've got x squared. That divided by 2 is 4x. That divided by 2 is 3. And that divided by 2 is still 0. All right, so I've now got a quadratic essentially without a value of 2 now, so I can just do it like a normal one. So I'm going to have two brackets, one with an x in both sides, two values that times give you 3 that add to give you 4, that's going to give you 3 and 1, and you're going to end up with a double bracket looking like that, equaling 0. So when we look to solve a quadratic when we've got two brackets, we consider either this is equal to 0, this bracket, or this bracket equal to 0. So we write those two things out, and then we rearrange. Well, plus 3 comes across and it becomes minus 3. The plus 1 comes across, it becomes minus 1, and that's going to give you your two solutions, okay? Well, what would you do if maybe it doesn't divide by a same number like this? All right, so this causes us certainly more problems, all right? We could try and divide by 2, it's probably a bad idea. We are just going to try and basically factorise it like a normal quadratic. So we've got to take 2x in one bracket and an x in another, all right? 2x and an x. And then we consider the value of 3. So what two numbers times give you 3? It can only be 3 and 1, and then you've got to decide which side these two numbers go in. All right, and I've said in another lesson where we're looking at factorising a quadratic by completing the square, it's a similar kind of idea, is that I consider this is 1x, consider that is 6x, and that's going to give me the 7x. All right, so that's the process that you need to think about, is where do my two numbers go, that when I times it out, it will give you 7x, and it's only in this order. All right, so like before, we write either bracket is equal to 0. So either this equals 0 or this is equal to 0. So, and then it's rearranged again. So take away 1 from both sides and then divide by 2. So that's going to give you minus 1 over 2, or minus a half. And this one, very similar to the previous one, but I need to take away 3 from both sides. So it's going to be minus 3. All right. And like I've said in other lessons, if you want to check your answers, by all means, take these numbers and substitute them into your equation, and you should end up with 0. All right, that's a way of double checking it. As long as you are careful, you can imagine you probably would need to be if you're putting minus half into all this. All right, well, that's it. So get yourself to maths-school.co.uk for some additional practice. But that's all from me. Thanks for listening.